Yes, yes.
Mohammed Omar. Wonderful guy. But you fill the room with people who are engineers,
the European Somali Business Chamber. Can I say, and start by saying, a particular thank you to His Excellency, the Ambassador of Somalia, who is over there. Ambassador, would you like? That's fantastic. And the Ambassador has been doing fantastic work here in London, and actually has altered his schedule so that he could be here tonight with us. That means going back to Mogadishu tomorrow. So we're really, really grateful, Excellency, for you being here tonight. Can I next thank the sponsors who helped fund this evening's reception. Firstly, Dhawaynnloogu Co, Zarosh Dhawaynnloogu. Dhawaynnloogu Co are a firm of solicitors in the City of London who have done an enormous amount of work in the international community, some phenomenal victories in the courts, including some recent decision in the Supreme Court. And Zarosh and Dhawaynnloogu have done a lot in oil and gas and other areas over the years. And when the Chamber went to Zarosh, Dhawaynnloogu and said, look, we'd like some help with the Chamber, they said, absolutely, whatever help we can give you, just let us know. So, Zarosh, thank you very, very much for what Dhawaynnloogu have done. Then, behind us, and you'll have to come and look at this later on this evening, but ZBH Co provide a wide range of prefabricated kit houses for the affordable housing market, and they do amazing stuff, and it's actually really worth coming and looking at what they do, and because they have solar panels, and they're really about how do you actually ensure when you need large amounts of decent affordable housing in places such as Mogadishu, where so much has been destroyed. They have come forward with solutions, and so now we're very grateful to Z Factory also for being sponsors this evening. And lastly, Ian Fennick, who has done an enormous amount to drive forward this chamber of the Chain Group, which do international telecommunications, provide telephone systems for embassies and for universities and for others. And I'd particularly like to thank Ian and indeed everyone, the whole Chamber team, for putting this together, because actually they, as you can see just by looking around at your neighbours and friends, have put together a pretty impressive group of people here this evening. Thank you all very much for having attended. All of us will have different reasons for being here. My interest in Somalia is that I chaired the International Development Select Committee for Parliament. I was a minister in the Foreign Office for a while, and everyone at Westminster talks about Somalia as being a failed state, and indeed over the last few weeks I have been rereading James Ferguson's book, which is entitled The World's Most Dangerous Place Inside the Outlaw State of Somalia, and one of course has to remind oneself that that is a book which was first published this year, 2013. Now actually James Ferguson in the prologue admits that between actually having written it and publishing it, things had changed an enormous amount in Somalia, and it wasn't necessarily a very fair title. I suspect it was a title which appealed to his publishing editors. But it is an indication Somalia has had to travel in recent years. We've had 2 Lancaster House conferences on Somalia in the not too distant past. We've had huge commitments made to Somalia by the international community. One of the interesting things in this book, which until I read it I hadn't fully understood, is the word Shabab stands for youth. I think that's right, Ambassador? Yeah, it stands for youth. And of course the truth of the matter is that in Somalia, as elsewhere in Africa and other parts of the world, there are huge numbers of young men and women who want jobs. In Somalia, it's particularly challenging, though, because for many of the young people in Somalia, they have spent most of their childhood and teenage years in a country which did not have a functioning government. There are references in this book where James Ferguson says to some of those who are, youngsters, teenagers, fighting for Al-Shabaab, why have you taken up arms? Why are you killing people? And they say, well, Al-Shabaab promised us a piece of fruit each day, regular food. So, Somalia is a country with enormous potential. After South Africa, it has the second longest coastline in Africa. It has, as we know, enormous mineral potential. It has great agricultural potential. It has great human resource potential, but also enormous challenges. And so what we are wanting to do is to try and help turn around Somalia, to make it a country for the 21st century, but a country where young people feel that they have got hope and a future and the possibility and prospects of jobs, and that they have actually some stake in their future. It doesn't help us, it doesn't help anyone in the world to have a failed country such as, or Somalia or any other country being a failed country, because sooner or later that reflects upon all of us. Now, we in the Chamber, and amongst those who have been involved in the setting up this evening, have got people there are people involved who have been doing amazing things in Somalia. Oil companies, my colleague from the House of Lords, Michael Howard, went to Somalia, signed some deals. We've got companies like Somcom, who are long-standing construction businesses in Somalia, working on projects as diverse as building courts, to housing, to building prisons, just the essential infrastructure for this country. There's an enormous amount more to do. Anyone who has been to Somalia or indeed the north knows the challenges, for example, of trying to open a bank account or banking. Or, we have a really rich diaspora, and the Somalian diaspora is part of Somalia's richness and part of the solution. But for years they have been sending remittances home back to Somalia. For various changes in rules in the US Treasury, this is now becoming more difficult. So there are an enormous number of challenges. But there's also enormous numbers of opportunities. And you, by being here this evening, thank you for coming, are all part of the answer. And you are all part of the group that I hope will help turn Somalia around from being recorded as being a failed state over the next few years to being a thriving state, and a state with enormous potential. So thank you very much for being here. But in particular, Ambassador, thank you very much for being here. And we promise you that those of us who are involved in this chamber will continue to strive to build the opportunities between the United Kingdom and Somalia, and to try and do everything that we can to ensure that Somalia as a country can prosper. So thank you very much, Ambassador, for being here, and perhaps you might like to say a few words.
Thank you very much. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, honorable and distinguished guests. It's a great pleasure for me this wonderful and exciting reception. I would like to thank the European Somalian Business Chamber and its distinguished chairman, the Honorable Sir Tony Baldry, for organizing this event. From the first day of my nomination, the Chamber has been on my side, providing critical support. I would like to thank the sponsors of this event, Said Factory, Saila and Company Solicitors, and the Jane Group. Ladies and gentlemen, as you know, Somalia has not had a diplomatic representative in the United Kingdom for over 2 decades. So this is a great opportunity to mark and celebrate this occasion for me and for the many Somalis at home and here in the United Kingdom and abroad. The setting up of the Somali Embassy in London is proceeding well, but needs your sustained support and help, as the task ahead is very significant. We need to move quickly in order to save our people here in the UK and back home in Somalia. the generosity and the warmth of the British government and people at this critical hour of need for Somali people is incalculable, unforgettable, and constant. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart. My country needs continued help from all our international friends and partners to rebuild our nation, its institutions and infrastructure. However, we understand well that in order to have a strong economy is a result of the investment and efforts of the private sector, from individual entrepreneurs to large multinational companies and everything in between. The federal Somali government is eager and encouraging for foreign direct investment in Somalia, and we welcome Somali and international companies and entrepreneurs to come to Somalia and help us realize the potential of our God-given natural assets and profit handsomely in the process. We realize that for Somalia to truly prosper, we need to rapidly grow our economy and create enough decent jobs for our people. We want to harness the creative energy of our people and strive to build a prosperous nation. Only through free enterprise and commerce will Somalia be able to create the jobs and prosperity that it needs and reclaim our youth from unnecessary danger and desperation. It is here that all of you in the UK, Somalia, and international business community can help. And that's why I'm so happy to see all of you tonight here. As you all know, 7 out of 10 of the fastest growing economy in the world are in Africa. Africa is where you should go for growth and for you all to build or increase your fortunes. Within Africa, Somalia, a land blessed with the bounties of nature, extensive underdeveloped and agricultural land, large fisheries, significant oil, natural gas, mineral deposits, and our biggest bounty, our hardworking, creative, and entrepreneurial people, will be one of the biggest growth histories in the world over the next decade. We are implementing policies and legislations that will make Somalia one of the easiest places to do business in the world. We will have open capital movement and give tax holidays to those that invest early in Somalia. In every segment of the economy, there are opportunities for business people. From agriculture to oil, we need investments and know-how. I urge all of you to come to Somalia and see for yourself all the opportunities that are available. I want, as a first step of effective cooperation, to recognize here the work that the European Somalian Business Chamber has been doing and engaged in behind the scenes. I will hereby sign today in public view a memorandum of understanding and cooperation with the European Somali Business Chamber to formalize a working relationship. The European Somali Business Chamber is here to help any European business that is keen to enter into Somali market. I hope you enjoy your evening and thank you very much for attending.
Ambassador, thank you very, very much for those wonderful words, and thank you very much also for making clear that the government of Somalia are recognising the Chamber and you're signing a memorandum of understanding with the Chamber, which is really much appreciated. And I would very much hope that anyone here who is interested in doing business in and with Somalia will, as a consequence, join the Chamber. Ian Fennick and others here this evening will be very happy to tell you more about it. Or Fahad, our good friend there, very happy to tell you more about it. And Ambassador, when they've turned all these lights off, I'm sure we can find a table where you can come and sign the memorandum of understanding. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. Well, that concludes the formal speeches. So please do carry on talking and networking and working out lots of ideas of how we can thicken and deepen links between.
Yeah? laga soo shaqeeyo
طبعا
waa shirkado diyaar
asagu ma saxiixayo wuxuusan diyaar u hayn ogeyn Soomaaliya waa habaysan
marka shirkadahan
dawladda buu matalaya soo wax walba uu ogyahay oo la socda
ma kuwan kuwa la ogyahay Soomaaliya
la ogyahay soo dawladdu u matalay
ma
memorandum of understanding. We have a handshake, please. Handshake to the camera. Thank you. Brilliant. Yeah. Let's take. Let's take. Still close.
I'm not taking away, just I'm looking at it.
I paid £22 in the House of Commons when it was launched.
I'm a very patriotic, so when I see this kind of, dangerous place,
guys, thank you very much. I'm Jafid again. He knows me.
Give him interview.
He's the one who invited me.
For publicity of the... I've asked the first question, have you invited in person? He said yes.
Thank you. He invited me from day one and followed all the way through. We exchanged about 100 emails. عبد الحفيظ الله انا ما قرن كرو لكن هو معقول حاجه اسمه مقلب هي ادو يرو على ساركي انت Brother Raggy, I was... Please. It's the largest Somali television in the world. We base it here and we cover around the world.
Stand the fact that I lived in Lagos?
In Nigeria. Unless you... We had a lot of programs against them. On a couple of people who come back last week.
Yeah.
And
you try and stay away.
I'll stay away until it comes down.
When do you think that's going to be?
It's hard to say because compared to where we were a year and a half ago, it's a massive difference.
Yeah.
And you cannot deny that.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of room to be improved.
Well, a lot needs to be done, yeah.
In terms of especially security, more than any lot of Somalis in new country, a lot of new country who keep going and back.
Yeah.
So that we can utilize that people for you. So think about that. That guy is the guy who's in charge of the entire economy. And his cousin or his brother-in-law is also in charge of natural resources. They were here.
They were here?
They were here May the 8th, when the big conference was taking place. I interviewed them, so what I will do is I will talk to my colleagues back home, see if I can get their emails for you.
That would be very good.
Yes, especially from non-Somalis, because there's business of... so it's...
Before it's too late, people want to get it.
So it's too late, yeah.
I mean, but it's just...
I mean, what happened was they moved in there, they started setting up businesses, just like the Asian community, and now it's called Little Mogadishu. They took over the entire area.
Okay, that's just how it happened. Yes, exactly. It is fascinating, eh? It is really interesting. So I lived in Kenya for 3 years. And it is really fascinating how you have a sort of subculture.
Yeah. I'm going to talk to the cameraman, but I look forward to hear from you.
Yeah.
Best of luck. Look after yourself. Thank you. I'm going to tell Add to that, thanks to Mr. Cameron and the British government as a whole, and British people, believe me, without this government, we won't be where we are today.
Really?
We can take you by the wing, get you to fly. That man did a wonderful job.
And Turkish.
And the Turkish government.
Really?
Oh, without them. 2 weeks ago we were having this initiative, what he called it, task force engagement.
waxaana munaasabadaasi sidoo kale soo dhaweynta u sameeyay European Somalian Business Chamber jambarka lagu magacaabo oo markaasi isagu soo dhaweynta u sameeyay waxa ka soo qayb galay qaybo kala duwan oo shirkado kala duwan iyo maaragtay aqoon-yahano kala duwan oo Soomaali iyo ajnabi isugu jiray waxa hadaba inoo faahfaahin doona qaabka ay u soo abaabuleen barnaamijkani qabanqaabiyihii barnaamijkan Ian Fenwick oo aan rabo haatan in aan su'aalo ka weydiiyo in yar oo arintaas ku saabsan. How are you, Ian?
I'm fine, thank you.
Yes, please could you tell me what the event was about?
The event tonight was to welcome the ambassador to the UK and to express to the international business community that Somalia now has a diplomatic representation, first time for 2 decades, and to introduce them the opportunities in Somalia, which is developing on a weekly basis. I've just recently returned 2 weeks ago from Somalia, where the amount of business opportunities are increasing on a monthly basis out there.
We know you are a member of the Somalian European Business Chamber and you are organizer of this event. Yes. Please, could you tell me what is the activity of the European Somalian Business Chamber?
The European Somalian Business Chamber is an organisation that was set up to organise, introduce and facilitate contracts for the European business community in Somalia.
Good, and you told me you come back from Somali capital Mogadishu 2 weeks ago. Yes. How is the situation of the Somali capital?
In 12 months since I last went there, it's improved incredibly. The atmosphere, the feeling of confidence and opportunity, it's just a completely different place to 12 months ago. It's quite remarkable.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, thank you.
واتهاي لنا كله وحن جعلنا بلينا نسجنا وحكوي دينو أمباشتور كأفضل الصومالية ودن كبريتن أمباشتور كسر دو تلفزيون كصومالي channel.
وما سنت عاصم.
واتهاي سو أركتا سودوين تمانتا أي كوسميين إن chamber كلغو مقعبو European Somalian Business Chamber.
runtii wuxuu ahaa xaflad aad iyo aad loo soo qaban qaabiyey dad aad fara badan oo diblomaasiyiin iyo ganacsato iyo aqoon-yahano oo isugu jira Soomaali iyo bahweynta caalamka ee halkan degan ayaa ka soo qayb galay waan runtii horumar weyn oo diblomaasiyadda Soomaaliya qaaday waxaan ku faraxsanahay sida ay ugu dhagan yihiin ama ay beesha caalamka u danaynayaan arrimaha Soomaaliya haday noqon lahayd siyaasadda dhaqaalaha iyo amnigaba ama maalgashigaba marka shakhsiyan waxay tahay sharaf inaan ka soo qayb galo xafladda waxaynu ku bilaabatay jawi aad u wanaagsan waxaynu ku dhamaatay jawi aad u fiican
waxaan arkaynay adigoo saxiixaya heshiis dhexmaray adigoo safaaradda safiirka Soomaaliya u fadhiya wadanka Britain matalayna dawladda dhexe ee wadanka Soomaaliya iyo waliba gudoomiyaha chamberkan Tony Poultry oo isaguna MP ka tirsan wadanka Britain marka saxiixaasi muxuu ku saabsan
saxiixa wax kale ma ahayn waa memorandum of understanding waxa waaye yani sida la socoto Soomaaliya muddo dheer dagaal ayaa ka socday xaalad jahawareersan ay ku jirtay haddana way ka baxaysaa waxaan ku qasbanahay in aan caalamka aan soo xodxodno cid la aamini karo oo arintaas u duuban oo u taagan oo adduunka nagu soo dunta oo ku dhiirigelista maalgashiyaasha adduunka Soomaaliya yimaadaan waa inay jirtaa runtii ninkan odaga ah oo xildhibaanka ah oo Tony Poultry wasiirka wasaaradda arrimaha dibadda wasiirka ahaan jiray waa nin dadaal badan maalintaan imid ilaa haddana dawladda Soomaaliya gacan ay siina qaasatan anay gacan ay siina marka doorkii un baa la formalize gareynay ama rasmi laga dhigay in oo on our behalf ama isaguna matalaya oo ganacsatada ama maalgashiyaasha Europeanka uu soo dumo oo yani oo bridge ama uu noqdo buundo u dhaxaysa Soomaaliya iyo ganacsatada caalamka bacdama nin oday ah oo sumcad weyn ku leh Europeanka iyo Ingiriiska gudihiisa iyo caalamkaba uu yahay in isaga isticmaalo inuu dhiirigeliyo oo yiraahdo Soomaaliya xaaladeedu waa isbedeshay amaan la isku haleyn karayaa ka jira dawlad la isku raacsi ayaa ka jirta duruufo waxa jira suurtagal ka dhigaya maalgashiga yani inuu cod dheer ku sheego arrinkaas si taas u dhacdana waa inaan meel fagaara aan ugu sheegnaa maalgashiyaashii in uu on our behalf
ugu dambeyntii ambassador adigoo maasan waxaan la soconaa dad badan iyo shirkado badan oo doonaya inay Soomaaliya maal gashadaan in ay hadda doonayaan wadankii Soomaaliya maadaama la sheegay in nabadiisa iyo horumarkiisa kor u soo kacayo kalsooni inta laag baad ku qabtaa in chamberkani uu noqon karo mid Soomaaliya wax badan ku soo kordhin kara
definitely waxaan ka qabaa rajo wanaagsan marka ugu horeysa dadka ka qaybta ka ah waa dad siyaasiyan magac iyo sumcad ku leh Ingiriiska iyo guud ahaan dawladaha Yurub dad fara badan oo xoolo leh oo maalgashayaasha ayaa ku jira marka koow ayaga ayaa howlo ka bilaabi doona labo waxay ayaguna kalsooni ku siin doonaan dad badan oo maalgashayaasha oo runtii aanan sawir fiican ka haysanin sawir fiican ka siiyaan oo ay u sharaxaan oo ay ku dhiirigeliyaan oo ay garantoor ama kalsooni ay ku siiyaan inay ku dhiiradaan wadankeena maal gashtaan marka kalsooni badan ayaan ku qabaa inay wax badan ay soo dumi doonaan
aad baad ma santahay ambassador waxa hadaba xafladani ahayd tii ugu ballaareed ee muddooyinkan ka dhacda caasimadda wadanka Britain magaalada London oo ay shirkado kala duwan ganacsato iyo waliba qaybo kala duwan ay ka soo qayb galeen oo ajnabi iyo Soomaali isugu jiray xasan sheekh axmed cadde telefishinka Somali channel bartamaha magaalada London